Hello and welcome. In this video, we will be reviewing the managerial tools available to you on the outbound transaction pages of the OptCenter, specifically the packing list and the invoice pages. Since many of the features available on both pages are exactly the same, I will be using the packing list page primarily as my example. Throughout this video, however, I will also go over the few functions that are specific to the invoice page. So let's dive right in. Most of the buttons you see up here are bulk action buttons that allow you to perform actions on more than just one transaction at once. First, you would select the transactions that you want, or all of them by clicking this button, and then you can perform the bulk actions. One very helpful tool that we can use are bulk edits of the header data for selected transactions. So we click the transactions that we want, and we click Edit Header Data. Now the screen that you see here is the initial screen that you get when you first try to make the packing list, with the ship date, the delivery date, the ship weight, the routing description, and scat code. The only difference now is we're making changes to multiple packing lists at once. Now, in order to edit the item data for a specific packing list or an invoice from the packing list or invoice pages, what you would have to do is actually select individual packing lists or invoice to edit with these buttons here. This would be how you would edit the item level information. This is going to be the item information that you had most likely already filled out. But if you notice, one very important thing to keep in mind is that these validated ASNs down here, I can't edit, I can only view them. And this applies to both the item level and the header level data. If you want to go back and edit the item level information for packing lists that have already been validated, what you have to actually do is select that packing list and then hit this reset button. Hitting the reset button brings it back to the save state like these two are up here and enables me to make those item level changes. Now, as far as invoices are concerned, and I'm on the invoice page right now, the story is a little bit different. You can actually edit already validated invoices simply by clicking this edit button, making whatever changes you need to make to the header or to the item level information, and then just clicking revalidate. Now, one last note on the resetting of packing lists is that once you reset a packing list, any invoices that were associated with that packing list that you generated in the past will be deleted. And the reason that that occurs is because invoices are direct reflections of the packing list. So whenever you make any edits to a packing list, a new invoice has to be generated to match that packing list, which is why they come already validated. But anyway, let's get back to some of the other bulk actions that we can do. So we can bulk edit the send date, so we select our two packing lists, or this could apply for invoices, and we edit the send date by clicking this button. And after I hit submit, I can see that both of my send dates for these two packing lists are scheduled for the same time. We can also download packing list documents in bulk by selecting the packing list we want and clicking this print button. And we can see our manifest and our labels and the carrier labels, which are still processing because it takes a little while after you initially generate your packing list for them to be produced. But we can click either individual downloads or download all. And the download all function is going to bring up a zip folder and generate all different PDF copies of the labels and reports. We can also delete packing lists with this delete button here, which will also delete the invoices that are associated with the packing list, like resetting them would. You can also generate invoices in bulk for already validated packing lists by selecting the packing list that you want and clicking this invoices button. And also, if you want to see a quick view of either invoices or packing lists this would apply for, there's this view field and you can just select it, and that's going to bring up a quick view of just the information for the header data and for the item information, and you can still see this stuff even after your packing list has been validated. Now, one of the final things I wanted to review on these pages were their search functionalities. The search function for the packing list page is a little bit different than the invoice search, but it is still very similar. Here in this page, you can search by a few different things. When we refine our search, we can go by type, status, creation date, and send date. Whereas on the invoice page, when we refine our search, we can go by the status, creation date, and the send date. In both cases, either on the invoice page or now back to the packing list page, The search functionality provides an easy way to find older transactions where you don't necessarily have the BOL or the invoice number. Now in this case, just to review, we can search by the type, which is either going to be all, prepackaged, mixed shipment, or distributed shipment, or we can search by the current status of the packing list transaction, which would either be active and previously sent, unknown, or we can search among subcategories of active and inactive. We can also search by the creation date, a single day if you know when the packing list was created, or a range where you think it might have been created, and a range for the send date or a single day. Now, just for the purposes of this video, we'll search by all. Now, whatever you had selected in your criteria for the search will basically reflect in the transactions that you see here, and if you ever get confused on what criteria you are looking at for the transactions you see, you can click this criteria details button, which is going to give you a reminder of what type of transactions are listed below. Now that about covers it for the Outbound Manager functions. I think mostly everything that I covered for the packing list page applies equally to the invoice page. I'll just switch over there to give you a little bit more of a refresher as to what the invoicing page looks like. But basically all the functionality is still the same. You have your create invoices button, you have your bulk edits of the header data, you have your bulk edits of the send date, the printing of the reports, you can reset invoices and delete invoices, and we went over the search functionality earlier. So thank you again for watching. We really hope this video helped, and if you have any other questions or if you need to open a support ticket, always remember that you can click on this help button to either submit a ticket to our support staff, or you can look at some of the other videos here as well. Thanks for watching.